Smell in dogs. What does a dog really smell? The sense of smell is the most developed sense in dogs, and for good reason. It has 220 million olfactory receptors against 5 million in humans. But what good is such an evolved sense in our four-legged friends, and why is it so important to them? We answer your questions. Dog nasal anatomy. The truffle or rhinarium is made up of 2 nostrils and represents the outer part of the dog's olfactory system. It is used to breathe but also to perceive odors. Then the nasal cavities are particularly developed. They contain the nasal turbinates, covered with an olfactory mucous membrane. This mucosa is made up of cells that make up the olfactory epithelium, a highly developed nervous system linked with the epithelial cells of the brain to identify odors. The vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, is located behind his incisors, just above the palate. It is he who allows the dog to identify pheromones. This organ measures about 130 square centimeters in dogs against only 3 in humans. How dogs smell. A dog's brain is largely devoted to the identification and interpretation of scents. It uses its nose to follow a trail by sniffing, thus allowing it to put the odorous molecules in contact with the olfactory mucosa. These molecules are then dissolved and then absorbed by the cells of the olfactory epithelium, before reaching the neurons which transmit information to the brain. The outer part of the nose also contains many pressure and temperature sensors, allowing the dog to know the direction of the wind. Smell is the only sense puppies have when they are born. It allows them to find their mother's teats. It is also the only sense that will remain intact with age, while all the others will gradually decline. Note that not all dogs' sense of smell is equal. Dogs with long muzzles have been scientifically shown to perform better than those with stubby muzzles. The size of the animal also plays a role, since large dogs have a keener sense of smell than small ones. What is the sense of smell for the dog? Memorize places, people. The dog is able to memorize more than 100,000 smells, and its sense of smell is 1 million times finer than that of humans. Thanks to this, he is able to memorize places, people, or even objects only thanks to his olfactory capacities. When we humans find our way with sight, your dog finds it with his sense of smell. This olfactory acuity is such that the dog can follow the trails of monozygotic twins, provided of course that they have each traced their own trail. It can also detect an odor on a window up to 6 weeks after contact, even if it has been handled since. A communication tool. To communicate, dogs use pheromones. They are secreted when the dog is confident, fearful, or angry, but they also allow the dog to define whether he is facing a male or a female. They also give her valuable information about her age, allowing her to know if she is in heat or if she is pregnant, that is to say pregnant. Most of these pheromones are found in their urine. The dog is also able to sort odors. When he perceives them, they are generally mixed. His olfactory system will therefore separate the odors in order to allow the animal to clearly identify the situation with which he is confronted. Exploitation of the dog's sense of smell by humans. Man has always known how to exploit the dog's extraordinary olfactory capacities. Today, researchers are trying to create a technology capable of competing with the truffle of man's best friend, but there is still great progress to be made. In the meantime, the dog's sense of smell does us great service in many areas. The hunt. This is of course the oldest use of the dog's olfactory talents by man. It is used in many hunting activities and more particularly for tracking game. Rescue and interventions. The dog's abilities are used by the police and the gendarmerie to search for people following an avalanche, an earthquake, a landslide, a building collapse, etc. But also to go on the trail of a missing person or to search for the presence of narcotics or explosives. Disease detection. Studies have revealed that certain dog breeds are able to detect diseases in humans, including cancer. Complementary studies must be carried out in order to determine the nature of the molecule emitted by cancerous cells, in order to open the way to new means of early detection of cancer. Recently, British researchers hypothesized that dogs would be able to detect malaria in children who did not yet show symptoms. Truffle dogs. Dogs can be trained to find truffles using their sense of smell, for the taste pleasure of humans during the holiday season. A dog's sense of smell is undoubtedly the most important sense for him. The smells around him can have an effect on his behavior. Some will soothe him, others will excite him or make him anxious. It is very likely that we do not fully measure the extent of the functions of this sense, which for us is only secondary.